The fall of man in the Garden of Eden fractured the relationship between creator and creation. Humanity was suddenly severed from God, and a curse was placed upon the physical world. This created an absolute spiritual vacuum. Humanity was trapped in a state of separation with no internal mechanism to rescue itself from the fallout. Amidst handing down these devastating judgments, God turns to the serpent. He delivers a single, highly specific promise, recorded in Genesis chapter 3, verse 15. Theologians refer to this specific moment as the Proto-Evangelium. Translated from Latin and Greek, that means the first gospel. It is the earliest recorded rescue plan for humanity. Looking directly at the text of Genesis 3:15, the language can seem strange on the surface. It speaks of enmity between the serpent and the woman, a promise about her seed, and a physical conflict where one will bruise his heel and the other will bruise thy head. This single sentence contains the structural DNA for the entire biblical narrative, the preservation of Israel, and the life of Jesus. To see how this plan unfolds and to understand our modern responsibilities to Israel, we must deconstruct this prophecy clause by clause. This diagram breaks down the first mechanical clause of the verse, the declaration that salvation will arrive specifically through her seed, the seed of the woman. A seed requires logistics. It demands a physical, earthly lineage to carry that specific promise forward through thousands of years of history. We see the start of that earthly lineage in Genesis 12, when God establishes a covenant with Abraham. From there, the lineage narrows into the nation of Israel. As detailed in Deuteronomy 7, the Jewish people become the dedicated physical vessel tasked with carrying this seed through time. Isaiah 7 and Galatians 4 reveal the fulfillment. The Messiah was born of a woman via a virgin birth, executing the seed clause to the exact letter. The entire existence and preservation of the Jewish nation was a structural necessity. Without them as the physical conduit, the rescue plan for humanity could not have been delivered. Returning to Genesis 3:15, the prophecy outlines a conflict defined by two distinct strikes, the serpent bruising the heel and the seed crushing the head. A strike to the heel is intensely painful and debilitating, yet it remains non-lethal. This maps directly to the suffering and physical crucifixion of Jesus. When we compare the magnitude of the two strikes, the contrast is clear. Crushing the serpent's head represents a definitive, fatal blow that ends the threat entirely. That fatal head wound is the resurrection. Christ's victory over the grave permanently severed the serpent's ultimate power over humanity. The word spoken in Eden mapped out the specific physical mechanics of the cross, thousands of years before the event took place. There is one remaining clause of the Genesis promise that is yet to be resolved. God's decree, I will put enmity. This hostility persists into the present, defining the spiritual friction we observe in the world today. Revelation 12:17 confirms this continuity, stating that the dragon remains enraged with the woman and continues to wage war against the remnant of her seed. We see this play out in the enduring historical and modern antagonism directed toward the nation of Israel and the Jewish people. The cosmic war declared in the Garden of Eden is actively being fought in our present day. Understanding this unbroken historical plan leaves us with a specific responsibility. The Apostle Paul writes in Romans 11 that God has not cast away his people. Israel remains both geographically and spiritually central to unfolding biblical prophecy. The mandate to bless Israel in Genesis 12:3 serves as the protective framework for the seed promised in Genesis 3:15. Because the seed travels through this specific lineage, God's commitment to protect Abraham's descendants becomes an extension of his original vow in Eden, linking the two into a single cohesive divine contract. Standing with Israel honors the terms of God's everlasting covenant, placing the believer in alignment with his historical plan. Blessing Israel and supporting the Jewish people means actively aligning yourself with the winning side of the very first promise God ever made.